Thank you. And by the way, you asked whether any one platform could meet all 45 criteria. Actually, we found one. That's the BioNimbus Gen 3 framework, which is the same framework that's being used by the National Cancer Institute for the GDC. It's also used for global weather prediction, gathering data in real time for global weather prediction. So it does have quite a tremendous amount of capability. So the next speaker is Douglas Landsman, who is the Vice President of Research at the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. He joined the society in 2014, and he has over 12 years of experience in the patient advocacy organization sector. Prior to the society, Dr. Landsman was the Director of Special Initiatives at the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. So he's bringing a lot of different pieces together. And a new challenge.
This is a new challenge. I don't have any slides. This is lightning round, so I'm going to try to go pretty quickly. This has been a terrific conference, and I definitely was exposed to issues and ideas that I didn't know. But some of the issues today are very familiar to the society. And the MS Society has been involved with various big data initiatives over many years. And I want to share just a couple brief case studies. And after I'm finished discussing this, Jonathan, I just want to point out that some of what I'm talking about has resulted in open source data sharing between industry, academia, which is really important. In general, all of the initiatives have involved federating data from clinical trials. And while there are some similarities to these projects, there are also some differences, and that they all came up during today's discussions. The first initiative, and I'm not going to go into detail, in the big data space, captured and collated data and set up an entity that managed data in Germany. And I don't really know the background of this, but I do know that the result is that privacy laws in Europe and in Germany in particular has resulted in pretty significant difficulty accessing and utilizing the collected data. And it definitely has informed projects going forward about where not to store data. And it's something very serious, and I'm glad that we talked about it today. Another initiative over the past 5 to 6 years, the Society helped organize a large project to federate data to develop new validated outcomes for phase 3 clinical trials. And the initiative involved collecting data from multiple industry-sponsored trials. And the challenges involved legal hurdles that were different for each trial and each company, in addition to formatting and harmonizing that resulted in much more manual data cleaning than originally anticipated. So we heard that many times today. And then most recently, the Society is leading a multi-stakeholder international initiative focused on progressive MS. And this initiative is aiming to identify biomarkers of disability progression to speed phase 2 clinical trials in progressive MS. And the research team on this project is combining the use of 2 existing data management and data sharing systems to organize the data and make the data available for collaborative work. And in fact, Alan Evans has mentioned LORIS, and that's one of the systems that the team is using. And they're combining LORIS with a data sharing system called SPINE. And the project aims to integrate robust data management mechanisms along with a federated database approach to facilitate the creation of local data repositories at multiple sites that provide the transparent conduct of experiments and also provide the capability for real-time collaborative review of results. So this would be real-time cloud computing. And one final project that has nothing to do with cloud or data, but I just want to mention, and I'll try to tie it in, is the fact that the Society supports a couple of brain and tissue biobanks. And the point of that is that this is a long-term project. And we're talking about, so far we've funded this biobank for 40 years, and we're looking at the next 40 years. And that's the type of time frame that we're talking about here and that the Society is willing to talk about and think about with all of our projects. So, as I mentioned, all of the problems discussed today, all of the problems that we've talked about have reared their ugly heads in all of the Society's projects, and that includes Legal hurdles, data crunching, data cleaning, retaining talent. We didn't talk about that, but that's been a real problem most recently. Developing user interfaces, data management, data privacy. So it's all wrapped up into all of these big projects that we're doing. But the good news is that the society and partners that we work with are willing to fund good, well-planned, potentially long-term data management projects. And we've used the term aspirational. We mentioned that here, and the society certainly is aspirational and strategic. And so from a funder's perspective, we're definitely willing to partner with investigators and provide funding and additional solutions to these problems. I think one of the solutions that was talked about here that resonated that we could implement and NIH can implement is requiring data management plans in projects moving forward, and probably in a bit more detail than we has happened previously. So my takeaway from today's sessions are that the problems are recurrent. We see them everywhere. They're predictable. We know that there's always going to be more manual data cleaning, that it's going to take longer. It's probably going to take more resources than we originally anticipate. But we actually recognize that. And some of this near term might seem intractable, but I'm really heartened by today's discussion and the direction of the work because of the concerted efforts, and that we're all thinking about it, and we're definitely willing to partner and find solutions. So in the cloud we trust, I don't know.